Hi and welcome to another Watch Geek video. Today, we review the monstrous Spinnaker Piccard that I unboxed recently. In that video, you could hear me laugh over and over at the ridiculous thickness of this watch and the way it looked on my wrist. Well, after a few weeks of wearing the thing, I can finally give my honest review and not just a first impression giggle fest. As you might have noticed, one thing has changed since the unboxing, and it's the strap. Since I believe a leather strap has no place on a dive watch that's supposed to go underwater, I switched out the incredibly thick leather with this supplied isofrane styled rubber. With 26mm in width and 5mm in thickness, the rubber isn't far behind the leather one when it comes to bulk, but it does wear more comfortable. Speaking of wearability, the 47mm case with the incredible 57mm lug-to-lug and an even crazier thickness of 25mm is anything but wearable, especially if you have a 6.8-inch wrist like mine. For the sake of this review, I did wear the watch for a few weeks, and I was actually surprised at the ability to pull this watch off. I guess part of it is thanks to the titanium used for the case, which makes this watch just over 160 grams on this rubber strap. If it was made out of steel, I'm sure we would be looking at numbers north of 300 grams. Don't get me wrong, I still find the watch way too big for me, and pretty much anyone that has sub 8-inch wrists, but the experience was fun. It was different to what I'm used to, and somehow it felt like I'm doing something I shouldn't. In a way, this watch became my guilty pleasure. The one thing I will say is that this is the only watch I have ever worn that basically everyone noticed on my wrist and wanted to know more about it. So if your goal is to get noticed, or to have a conversation starter on your wrist but are not afraid to hurt your loved ones or your property by accidentally banging the watch against them, you should definitely get this. So what exactly is this, and has Spinnaker pushed it too far? The Piccard was released on the 23rd of January of 2020 as a limited run of 300 pieces for each variant, the titanium silver and IP-coated titanium gold that we have here. The reason for that exact date is no coincidence, as that marked the 60th anniversary of the first time the human race reached the deepest point on Earth, the Challenger Deep at the Mariana Trench. With the depth of almost 11,000 meters, it took quite a vessel to accomplish that. And that is how we come to the name given to this watch. The vessel, or Bathyscaphe Trieste as it was called, was designed by Auguste Piccard. But the watch got the name after his son, Jacques Piccard, who was one of two people that actually took Trieste down to the bottom. I know it probably didn't happen like this, but I can't shake the feeling he put his own son inside to prove how confident he is in the design of Trieste. The two men that were aboard that vessel deserve all the respect they can get. But they were inside, protected from the crushing pressure of water at those depths. What wasn't inside and what had to endure those impossible odds was a watch, a Rolex watch, that was especially designed for that depth with a very similar shape to this. What I mean is that it was very thick and had an even more bulbous crystal, as it was actually a glass ball. That watch is what this is trying to pay tribute to, thus the crazy design. So this is not shaped the way it is because it is technically necessary to reach 1000 meters, as I have reviewed watches half as thick that can do it. This is shaped the way it is to remind people of just how crazy that Rolex was, but unlike that Rolex, you can actually buy this and wear it. Behind the insane sapphire crystal is a dark blue dial with applied gold-colored hands and markers. Both the markers and hands have excellent lume and quite a lot of it. Above the dial, you have a gold-colored ring that has the depth rating written in 3 different units, while at 6 it has the case material written. Sadly, the distortion of the crystal is so big that viewing anything on the dial at any angle other than perfectly straight is almost impossible. Which is a shame, as I feel this dual level dial would look cool if we could see it from the side. Just like the rest of the watch, the crown is one of the biggest I have seen. But it's not like those Russian divers where this is just a cap and inside you find that tiny thing you can barely grab. No, on this is the actual crown, and a very good one, if I may add. Yes, it digs into your wrist, and yes, you can cause some serious damage to objects you hit it against, but it has a nice precise screw-in action, and once you do unscrew it, the winding of the Swiss-made Sellita SW200 is butter smooth. Beating at 28,800 bph and having both hacking and hand winding, this automatic movement is reserved for special Spinnaker models, while the regular lineup always gets either a Seiko NH35 or a Miyota 8200. Luckily, this watch doesn't have an exhibition caseback as it would ruin the toolish look. What it does have is a deeply engraved caseback with the Trieste schematic. It is very cool and just goes with the watch perfectly. All this comes at a price that is quite a lot higher than what Spinnaker usually charges for their watches, but then again, it is not more expensive than their Tissot bronze. Although both have similar specs, Tissot is just another slightly generic looking watch, while this is very original and, like I said at the beginning, a conversation starter. A watch that will get you noticed, not to mention the packaging is miles ahead of Tissot. So to answer my original question, has Spinnaker gone too far? Maybe they have, but that is what they're supposed to do. In my unboxing video, I said how traditional brands are bound and limited by tradition, and can't always throw reason out of the window and just go wild, although with some we wish they did. Microbrands, on the other hand, are not bound by tradition as they don't have any, so they can take stabs at original designs no matter how crazy they are. This watch is a complete opposite of what I love about watches, but still, somehow, I kind of fell in love with it. If nothing else, then because it is not yet another sub-clone. I can't wear it as it's really too big for me, but if you have a physique of Big Daddy from BioShock, as someone mentioned in the unboxing video, you could pull this off. And like it or not, I can guarantee it will put a huge smile on your face whenever you take a look at it. Well, that completes this week's video, so thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed and found it useful. If you did, please like and subscribe, and until the next video, bye.